Tonight in churches all around the world, priests will perform the simplest of tasks, washing the feet of 12 parishioners. So the bowls and the fresh towels are in place. The amice is ready to tie around my waist. The pitchers are filled with warm water, with very warm water. And 12 brave parishioners from our parish family are ready to go. But for all of the attention to detail, the foot washing is hardly the easiest part of our Mass tonight, because most of us are not used to having someone wash our feet. Although afterwards, many folks will talk about the beauty and the meaningfulness of the whole thing, for both priests and parishioners, the occasion involves humility and sensitivity, aware that all of this happens before the curious eyes of family and friends and complete strangers. But no pressure, foot washies, no pressure. Of course, Jesus and his friends lived in a very hot climate, and they walked everywhere they went, on dusty roads and wearing nothing but homemade sandals. And on top of that, many of his apostles were fishermen. And we can only imagine the cleanliness or lack thereof of those fishing boats. So at the end of a hard day, they had to really enjoy pouring some cold water over their hot and dusty and tired feet. And in those days, whenever someone hosted a meal at their home, they would have one of their servants wash the feet of all the guests as they arrived. Now, knowing all of that, is it any wonder that the apostles are so shocked and embarrassed when Jesus himself kneels down to wash their feet? Jesus was their teacher, their Lord, their Messiah. Yet here he was performing the job of a menial servant. So by his actions, Jesus is saying that leadership requires humble service. And it was a lesson that the apostles would never forget as they became the leaders of the early church. And it's a lesson that Pope Francis reiterates in a very powerful way tonight, as he traditionally washes the feet of inmates at a youth prison in Rome. That being said, it's still too easy for us to imagine the Last Supper and Jesus washing his apostles' feet as just something from the past, which we remember kind of in a symbolic way tonight. After all, most of us will never have to actually wash each other's feet. But if we pay attention, if we pay close attention, we'd see similar examples of this all around us every single day. We'd see countless people leading by example through their humble service to other folks. Parents patching up the scraped knees and elbows and sometimes hearts of their children and grandchildren. Teachers spending extra time after school to help students that are struggling. Nurses and caregivers helping patients with intensely personal things which they can't do for themselves anymore. A bus driver waiting patiently while a passenger is fumbling for their pass. A police officer giving directions to a stranger, or making sure that the neighborhood kids get home safely. A cashier at a grocery store, smiling kindly at her customers. Someone generously driving their elderly neighbor to the doctor or to the store. It's true that Holy Thursday remembers Jesus' example of humble service, but it also celebrates the many small acts of love and kindness that we too often take for granted in our lives and in the world around us. Every single one of us will have countless opportunities every day to offer that kind of service. No matter our state in life, we can all lead by example through acts of love and kindness and humility and service without expecting anything in return. In many ways, it's what our world needs now more than ever. We can follow the example of our Lord in washing the feet of his apostles, and we can follow their example too in allowing others to wash ours. We grow in virtue and love and humility when we serve someone else, but we also help others to grow in the same way when we humbly let them serve us as well. In other words, Jesus calls us, each of us, to both give and receive with humility. And Holy Thursday shows us how.